marketing strategy should include for better CAQ, customer acquisition costs. I think it's CAC. Got to start over again. Hele marahara, hora moraskiri, fidi pidi hara mara hora lara para. Tell me when we're
You're all good to go. Yep. We're now live. Yeah. We have to start it.
Episode 121. 3 sales questions every marketing strategy should include for better CAC, customer acquisition costs. Most sales conversations fail long before the pitch even begins. It is not because of pricing, competition, or even the product. It is because most salespeople walk into meetings without answering the 3 questions that every buyer is thinking. Miss them and your message falls flat. Nail them and everything changes. In this episode of Mastering Local Marketing, we break down the psychology behind high-performing sales conversations and how smart businesses turn marketing strategies into real revenue. Whether you are focused on customer acquisition, local marketing, or growing a small business, you will learn how to position your offer so prospects feel urgency, clarity, and confidence without sounding pushy. If you want stronger sales meetings, faster decisions, and more predictable business growth, this episode will change the way you think about selling. He's Matt Hansen, digital marketing professor at Purdue Northwest. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, this week I've been more of a sales professor, so it's been an interesting process. We've got some students that are going to some different competitions, and Dr. Mitch has brought me in to kind of help with some of them this week, and it's been interesting because you're participating in some things that you don't normally jump into, but I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. You come in there and you're playing the buyer and you're waiting for them to uncover, all of these different things that they should be going after. And I've had a couple different sessions at this point where I've sat down with these students and, I let them go. The first one I was dealing with, I was supposed to be in the automotive aftermarket, which is, a space that I was in, a lifetime past. But it was just interesting to kind of hear how they were approaching different things, and I'm wanting to give them the things that we're going to talk about today. So that's what's kind of sparked this. That's why we're here today. But yeah.
Once again, this podcast is marketing for the small and medium-sized business, and just things that can make you effective and more efficient in your marketing. The number one thing is you got to believe that you need marketing. If you don't, then turn the channel right now. But if you have a small to medium-sized business, like 600,000 of them here in Indiana and many millions across the state or across the country, it's always incumbent upon you to generate revenue, and that's how you do by listening to this podcast. What are some of the cool things you were hearing from these students?
Well, it's interesting because they come in all prepared, right? And I feel like I'm the polar opposite. When I go into a sales negotiation or even a first initial discussion, I don't take anything. It's just question after question after question. So it was interesting kind of to see the 2 different groups and how they approached it, right? So the first one really kind of had all of these things they wanted to talk about, right? The sheet, let me tell you all the bells and whistles, all the wonderful things that we have to offer. The second one that I dealt with asked a bunch of questions, right? So completely 2 different approaches. But let's go back to the first one, right? So they had all of these bells and whistles. Here's all the things that we can offer you. We've got this and this and this and this. And I stopped them about 5 minutes into it. And I said, all right, you're telling me all of this stuff. You've come in, you're giving a presentation to me, but you're not really asking me what I need, right? So what is it? You got to ask me these questions. You got to find out what's the fit, what's the pain point. And I use the term pain point all the time. Anyone that's around me, I think I've given that out a million times. I talk about it all the time, and even my bosses at the university have used pain point, and they're not in marketing. So, it's one of those things where you have to ask a million questions and you have to uncover what is the pain point that they're going through, right? So the conversation that we had yesterday, we were going, and I don't want to give any details of it because they're going to competition today, but they were asking a bunch of different questions, and they'd hit on something that I was struggling with. I'm the role play buyer here, but this is something that I was struggling with. And then they would move past it. I'm like, okay, you need to write that down, right? That's a pain point. You ask a few more questions. There's a second pain point. A few more questions. There's a third pain point. Okay, now which one of these 3 pain points am I going to just agitate, right? And that's what every sales process goes through. We're looking for what is it that our potential new customer is struggling with, and we've got this problem. Maybe you're losing money in you're not bringing in enough sales, or maybe maybe you are a manufacturer and you're looking at shipping boxes, or you're looking at e-commerce solutions, or all these different things. Like, everything's got a cost to it, right? We were talking yesterday, and they were simply talking about the packaging of a product. And I said, okay, well, that packaging causes additional issues, right? So if something goes bad, that's costing you money. Then you've got additional labor, you've got transportation costs, you've got gas, you've got time, all these different things, right? And when you start to understand the pain points of your customer, and this could be, something as simple as somebody that walks into your retail shop versus somebody that's buying a large amount of product for, redistribution or whatever it may be. Understand the pain point, agitate it, and start to get them to realize, okay, I do have this problem, and this person across from me has a solution to it.
One of the things that we talk about, say when we talk in well over 100 episodes, we've addressed a number of times about social media platforms, and one of the things that you say on a regular basis is pick one. Mm-hmm. So now you're preparing to go into the sales strategy. You can't bring 18 options, no. Right? And no. I think that's what you put on here was, but you got to bring something.
Right.
You got to bring something that is left behind, something that anticipates their pain point. But I already know the answer to this. But how important is simplicity in your message and in your material?
Yeah, we can't complicate things, right? So you go to, let me put it this way. You're going to go pick a paint color, right? I'm going to paint my walls white. There is no white color other than what comes in the container, right? But if you go look at the paint chips for white, there's got to be 30 of them at least that all have different colors, right? It's alabaster and bright white, and I know these because we've recently done this, right? There's 30 different colors, and you bring them all home, and they have shades of yellow in them. They have shades of red in them. They have all of this stuff, and
some are latex, some are oil, some have a sheen, some do not.
I mean, yes. At some point you just go, ugh. You put them up on the wall, and you're like, oh, I'm walking away.
What's the best seller? Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
I'll take that one.
Pretty much. But that's what it comes down to. Like, you provide all of these options, and people just don't want to think about it. Give me a couple options that I can pick from and go, right? Many people will walk in and they'll have a prepared package ready to go. And I think that's good. You've got a starting point in your mind of where you want to go. But I think you need to listen to your customer. So there's been many times where I've walked in, and this is what I do on the agency side, is literally I walk in and I go, what are you guys looking to do? What's your biggest pain? What's your biggest pain point? Well, we can't get this. And I just start digging deep into that, right? Well, what does it cost from? If you had, more staff, more money, more tools, what is it that's causing the friction here? And then what I do is I start to build that package together and say, okay, well, what I've heard is X, Y, and Z. If we put a package of X, Y, and Z together, that solves all of those pain points, correct? Well, yeah. And then you just start asking a few more questions to see if there's anything else you've got to pack in there, right? But the easiest sales that I've done in the past have literally been, I have nothing to sell you yet. Let's figure it out. And I heard one the other day, and it was basically it was a quote on Instagram, and this guy said, I'm going to build you a house. I'm going to be the most expensive. I'm going to take the longest, but I'm going to make sure it's right. And the guy goes, I instantly signed that document right there. Think about that, right? So if somebody walks into you and says, oh, we're the cheapest, all this, da 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 da. Okay, why are you the cheapest? That's triggers in your mind. This guy comes in, I'm the most expensive, I'm going to take the longest, but I'm going to make sure it's right. If you're building a house, you want your house right. It's the same thing with anything that we're doing here. We're building trust and reliability with the person that's across from us. They may know us, they may not know us, but if you're coming in cold, you've got to build that trust, right? So we start to talk about the pain points, and then we've got to go to the second part of it, right? What is that pain point costing you right now? So, if you're struggling with, let's go back to the manufacturing thing that we were talking about.
Is our producer eating her lunch?
She's eating candy, I think, at this point.
I was brought candy by someone today because they remembered that I like a certain candies, and I was just like, oh my gosh, yes, because all the Valentine's Day candies are on
So
sale.
somebody brought it for you?
Yeah.
You got your own fans now? That's nice. That's sweet.
Every time I produce of notoriety, they usually bring props of some sort, and usually sometimes it's flowers. So they're like, "Here you go," and I'm just like, "Oh, thank you so much." So yeah,
we have
I get nice gifts from people. It's so sweet.
we have as our producer Adriana Alvarez. She is a senior at Purdue Northwest and is in Matt Hansen's podcast class, but. I wanted to address that maybe in the next one. But to the pain point, I think that the small and medium-sized business person that wants to sell their thing may not know what that is.
Okay, so let's think about this. Give me a product that you've recently purchased, besides boots, which you're not wearing today.
Yeah, I'm walking a grandkid. Gosh, that's a really good one. Boots. I think we bought a vacuum cleaner.
Okay. So with that vacuum cleaner, why'd you buy a vacuum cleaner?
Because the old one petered out.
Okay. How was the old one? What did you like about it?
It was super expensive, and I bought it when my kid was 10 years old. She's 32 now, and I bought the best vacuum you could buy because she had asthma.
Okay.
Okay.
So what is the best vacuum?
It was I think I bought it then at $7.99. I think it's $1,200 now.
Okay.
So I mean it's hypoallergenic, all that stuff.
Okay.
I didn't want that. I wanted the exact opposite.
Okay.
She's moved on years ago. I just wanted something. We don't even have that much carpeting. We just have mostly hardwood floors. So I wanted the most powerful and kind of cheapish one. It just went, just sucked everything up. It didn't have to be fancy. It just had some power.
So how did you define the strongest, most suction from something that you couldn't start in the
I just
store
turned
or
them
in the
on.
box?
They plugged them in.
Okay. So they plugged them. So the sound is what
Yeah.
triggered it. Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. So
I have my pain point was that I got grandkids now and they're eating they're eating candy that people bring them. But they got crumbs and all that stuff around on the carpet, and it gets in there, and then you can actually hear it sometimes when you're walking in the middle of the night in your bare feet, and you could feel crumbs and stuff. And I go, hey, we need something that just goes roar and just grabs that stuff out of there.
Okay, so you said they plugged it in for you so you could start it.
They just turned 3 of them different one. Here, this is this one. This is this one.
Was it a plug or was it a portable one, battery one?
Well, I think most of them were portable, but they plugged them in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have the ability to go without the cord?
One of them does, yeah.
Okay. Did it have a hose on it?
No, it was just a upright.
If it had a hose on it, would have been better?
No.
What's
Not
that?
for me, because I wouldn't use it to clean out the car. I mean, I live right by the...
No, but let's say they drop a piece of cereal on the floor. Is it easier to take the hose and just hit it real quick, or is it easier to crunch over it?
No,
And get
it's
multiple?
actually not, because it's just another accessory. I knew what I wanted.
Okay.
I wanted to grab it off the wall and go, and then put it right back. That's it. Because actually, I went to a dude's house and somebody dropped something, and he just came out and put the thing back. And I was like, wow, that's really cool.
So it's funny, you're talking through different stages of your life. We had I don't know if the vacuum that you're talking about is a Kirby, but we had a Kirby. And it's this gigantic monstrosity. I feel like it's made out of 100% steel.
Is it a canister or an upright?
It's an upright, if I remember correctly. But
yeah,
the thing
Kirby
weighs more than my wife does. Yeah.
Kirby's been around for a long time. They make them,
Yeah, great vacuum. But now she is to the point where she has the Dyson portable, stand-up, simple. So we have like 3 or 4 different vacuums, depending upon like what she's doing. Again, the things are changing based on the lifestyle. So what you're saying is, it's grandkids, it's not tons of carpet, it's quick, easy, great.
It's plugged in now. We didn't wind up buying the full upright. We wound up buying the stand-up one that also has a battery, but it's plugged in the kitchen, and you just grab it and and you put it right back.
Yeah, so you're looking for convenience, quick, easy, right? So you don't need the 300-pound Kirby that has the cord and
not anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, you have to understand. You have to ask all of these questions to your customers to go. What is your lifestyle? What does this look like? Because a 300-pound Kirby is not going to make sense for you at this point, just like it doesn't make sense for us either, right? Like, we're getting rid of all of our carpet. It's, we're putting hardwood floors and everything. So doesn't make sense for that customer. And that's what we're saying is, like, what are the pain points? Your pain point is the fact that you have a Cheerio sitting on the floor every 3 seconds that you need to vacuum up, right? It's not, I have all this carpet that I have to vacuum every couple days because of whatever, right? So you've got grandkids, you've got kids, you've got dogs, you have cats, you have dust, you have, if you open your windows and you're in a new construction area, like, there's all these different things that you can start to ask, right? So those are pain points, but also we have to look at it from the flip side. What is this costing you? And I know a vacuum is not necessarily costing you anything, but if you are in the business space, what is this costing you long term? So, marketing, right? If I go in there and I start to talk to you about marketing, and you're like, oh, no, I can't put more than $100 a month into it. Okay. But have you looked at your marketing? Do you understand that it brings in more people, that it, in the long run, will give you more revenue and lifetime value and all this other stuff? No, I haven't looked at that. Okay, well, if we can start to define what those numbers look like, what those response rates would look like, the number of people that will walk in reality, you're leaving a significant amount of money on the table because you're unwilling to invest into your marketing. Well, yeah, but I have $100. Okay, that's fine. We're talking about the cost, the opportunity cost, the lifetime value of a customer, all these different things. So we're agitating the pain points, but we're also talking about what's the cost of it right now of you not doing something versus doing something, right? So it's costing you $100 a month, but if you were to go out there and spend $1,000 a month, how much more in revenue is going to come in the door versus where you're at today?
All right, so speaking as a small and medium-sized business, I have not had much success when I have to convince people to market.
Right.
And we've grown so quickly that we had so little time. And as you well know, we're only now turning to marketing. But our saying was we're only going to go with people that are kind of already predisposed. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just kind of taking the other side. I don't want to be sitting there talking to somebody that wants to spend $100 why they should spend $1,000. Right. So I don't mind talking to them about, like, well, come to us, spend money here. We have the best, most positive advertising, and it's a really cheap CPM. And you know what? We got the best product. I got that against somebody else's product, but I have trouble doing that, what you're talking about. So how does the small to medium-sized business person handle that challenge? I don't really think I need your product.
Okay. So what happens if you continue going down the path you're going? That's the question to the $100 person. What happens? Are you happy with where you're at right now?
most small to medium-sized people will say, all right, I really like listening to you, but I'm giving you the reality from that other side is they're worried about is cost.
Of course.
You know what
They're
I mean?
holding on to it.
They're holding on to it, and as long as they're making a little bit of money and they're still in business a lot, especially in this environment. So I guess what I'm saying to you is that how do you overcome that hurdle? Because I have not been able to, and I won't even address it. I want if you're thinking should you market at all, then we're just done, okay? And I have done that. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to have this. If you ever want to market, call me. But until then,
Yeah, I think those people are not necessarily in your target audience. Right?
Yes,
that's not who you're targeting. So I mean, the whole sales process starts like you can't sell. I mean, you can sell everyone, but like you don't want to sell everyone.
There you go.
Because you're not.
That's what I wanted
Yeah,
to
you're
hear.
not going to put that much energy into going out there and knocking on the door and saying, "Hey, like I'm here again. Let's talk." People out there will know me. Like, if I'm showing interest in your business, it's because I see real potential in what you can do.
when you're selling them marketing services.
Correct. And I say that to them up front. I go, listen, I'm here because I see opportunity. If I didn't see opportunity, we would not be having this conversation. If you do not want to grow, I completely understand. That's fine. If you do want to grow, I can give you a path moving forward.
There you go.
Yep.
I like that. So to back for I'm representing basically the listeners and the viewers here, most of them. So we agitate for the pain point. And sometimes the pain point is that I really don't want to spend any money. Okay? And you can't get over that one. But once you agitate for the pain point, and it can be painful in and of itself, because a lot of times that person that you're trying to sell to doesn't know what their pain is.
Right.
They can't define it. Then, of course, you're like, all right, for this pain point, I have a solution. For pain point B, I do have some solutions. I'll be honest with you, I do not have that part for pain point C. Say the guy out here sold me a dumpster, and I'm like, I know him, but he was like, well, what are you looking, really, what are you looking to do with this plant? And I said, well, I want a place to throw the garbage, but I really kind of want someone that cleans up the whole area and dumps it into that garbage on a regular basis. He goes, hey, listen, I'll bring that here. I'll pick it up every day, whenever you need it. But I don't offer that service. I know a couple people do. Here's a couple names, right? And that was really kind of cool. But he had the solution for the pain point that we found. He did not have the solution for the other pain point.
But he found it for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that helped me, gave me that, and then I wound up buying the dumpster from him.
Exactly.
So it was good. But sometimes they do have that pain point, and you're like, hey, listen, this is what I hear from you. This is what my services are. If we do this and you do spend that $1,000, we can make some of your pain disappear. And that is probably what you exactly say those words.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, every small business owner, there are nights, and I'm no different, right? I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, let the dog out, my brain starts going.
Oh,
right? We've all been there. If you're listening to this podcast, your brain does the exact same thing over and over and over. If you wake up in the middle of the night,
don't wake up.
Don't turn the light on. Keep your eyes closed. Whatever you got to do, because your brain's just going to go, right? But what we're thinking about are the pain points that we're struggling with our business and how we solve those. So if somebody were to walk in that door, and I always say this, I say this commonly, if somebody walks in your door and says, for 10% of your revenues, I'm going to take all your problems away, wouldn't you do that?
Let's end it there. Let me sum it up for him. Okay, there's three main questions for better customer acquisition costs. One is, why does this matter to you, this product? And there's your pain point. Agitate for that pain. Second, what happens if you don't buy? There's a cost there, right? And that's part of that. Now, you also have to say, why now and not later? And that's part of the easing of the pain. So, one, agitate for the pain. Two, provide your solution. And three, make the pain disappear. Dave Kuziak was a roofer. I just got off the phone with him last night, and he was talking about, he's a sales guy. He's got to reach certain revenue, for his year and so forth. He basically, I'm like, well, what do you? He's like, oh, I got to go to I got a sales appointment at 10. I got one at 11:30, and I got one at 1. So no, I can't meet you for lunch. And then he starts talking, oh, I got to go to this guy. I know how it's going to go, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to have to listen. I'm going to have to listen. I'm going to have to listen. And then maybe I'll be like one of 4 bids. And, he goes through this process selling people's roofs.
Yeah, which he should be doing online anyway. That's where the roofers are going at this point. They're using, basically satellites to measure and provide real-time data and estimates instantaneous instead of going through that whole process.
Oh, you really have to just stick a... When you were a kid and some guy was riding by in his bike, he had a brand new bike, he was all excited about it, did you grab one of those, grab a branch and just stick it in that back tire to just slow it down?
Did.
There's so much more to say. I'm sorry, by the way, I cut you off that one time. I have now been on the radio for about 4.5 hours, so I'm losing my concentration. But Adriana is not. She's keeping us together. Matt Hansen is always spot on. Tell people, mastering local marketing. Until next time, see you later.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
When the doors closed last time, people went nuts. By popular demand, we are opening the doors up again to join our AI Amplifier Club for $1. Yes, $1. And we're going to donate that dollar to Feeding America. Let me tell you real quick what the AI Amplifier Club is. This is the #1 community on the planet to learn AI, to go from confused and overwhelmed to confident and secure, to get reviews and training and prompts and a monthly live training with a professional, with weekly trainings from our partner, Igor Pagani. Tony and I have 76 years in business and helping people succeed. Igor, we believe, is the top AI educator, and we combined forces. We partnered. So now you get the best of both worlds in one community. This guy knows how to take really complicated stuff and make it pragmatic and practical. And you have the opportunity to get instant wins, instant playbooks, tactics, strategies, hacks, monthly training, all in a community that you could test drive now for $1. A community like this out on the internet, people are paying $197, $297.
We were able to use Google Ads geotargeting.
Ready to work in high-powered industries like wind and industrial maintenance? At Universal Technical Institute.
Episode 122 of Mastering Local Marketing. What's holding back your business growth, marketing, resources, or is it you? Most businesses say they want growth, but when it comes to time to invest, scale, or push harder, hesitation shows up fast. Limiting marketing budgets, no time, fear of what happens if things actually work. So what is really holding businesses back? In this episode of MLM, Mastering Local Marketing, we challenge the idea that growth problems are caused by marketing tactics alone. Instead, we dive into the hidden mindset shifts, operational fears, and decision-making patterns that quietly slow down business growth and customer acquisition. If you have ever said not right now to marketing strategies, delayed investing in sales, or felt stuck between wanting more customers and protecting what you already have, this conversation will hit close to home. The real question is not how to grow faster, it is what you might be protecting that is keeping you small. We are produced by Adriana Alvarez. She runs the WJOB Podcast Network here in Hammond, Indiana. Our star of our show is Matt Hansen, and he is a digital marketing professor right around the corner at Purdue. Thanks, Matt, for coming in.
I feel like I need a theme song coming in.
No.
No? Okay.
Can we talk about this? I mean, I don't know about you. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
And when they got all this intro.
You don't like
and,
the intro music?
No.
Even if it's
I'm like,
da-da,
start.
da-da, da-da.
Should
That's
we
it?
look into the royalties for like Thunderstruck or something like that?
So it's
that
just
your welcome song?
I'm here for one reason. I want this information,
Yep.
and I want to warm up to the host. If it's entertainment, maybe I'll take it. But if it's just for some sort of digital marketing or how to work at home, I've been listening to a lot of those. And, you know, I just want the guy to talk about, hey, this is what you do if you want to work at home and get more done. Okay?
Yep.
You're used to going everywhere. Now you're at home. And how are you going to do that without feeling lonely?
So you gave me a 2-minute speech right there on I can't have a theme song. Got it. Okay. Understood. Just kidding.
I'll put it in post. Don't
There
worry.
you go.
Adriana Alvarez is attracting podcasts, and if you happen to be listening to this, you could do it from anywhere. As a matter of fact, we kind of prefer if you're anywhere and not here, but Matt Hansen continues to want to come down here, and we are in the second to last day of this studio ever being used for live radio, live TV, live podcasting. As we built a brand new studio, and we'll be in that next time. So
All right,
you did with two businesses this week. You started to tell me about them.
Yeah.
And so I want to hear about them.
Yeah, so I've got two businesses that I've been having conversations with.
Pull your mic up.
And, what I've realized is they are the same business, but one is drastically different from the other. And what does that mean? One is doing 10 times the business that the other one is doing, and there is literally no difference between the two companies other than the effort that's going on. Let that sink in, right? So, same industry, same type of product, same same kind of website, same marketing materials, same everything. But it comes down to just a few things that are happening. And, it got me thinking this week because I thought, man, this one company that's kind of underperforming doesn't even realize where they are, that they have the opportunity to just go and run and just, let's take the training wheels off and let's go. And then the other one is sitting there and I'm seeing everything that they're going through and all of the, we were talking about pain points in the last episode, but like all the pain points that they're just breaking through ceilings and all this other stuff, and they know all of their numbers, and it's amazing to watch, right? So we have these two companies, and I would love to work with either or both of them in any capacity because I'm sitting here just going, it's amazing what you're doing, but one of them just is 10x'd the other one. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today is what are some of the things that are going on in the mindset of an entrepreneur that kind of holds them back a little bit? And, are you really ready to go forward? In the last podcast, we talked about people that are comfortable, right? Kind of comfortable in their area. And I have that conversation with a lot of entrepreneurs. Do you want to be comfortable or do you want to grow? Right? Like when you are uncomfortable, there's a reason for it. It's not that, yes, things are breaking all around you, right? But are you comfortable in moving forward and knowing that those things are going to break all around you? Right? A lot of people out there listening are probably sitting there going, well, I don't want any more stress added to my life. Okay, don't become an entrepreneur. Let's be honest, right? So, like, if you own a business, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and you're going to be stressed. You're going to be thinking about things. You're going to have a hard time going to sleep. You're going to, your mind is constantly wandering. A lot of people will say, oh, I want to be my own boss so I can, relax. No, you don't relax. You do 3 times the amount of work, but you're working for yourself.
Can I just butt
please.
on one thing? I was listening to podcasts, and I can't remember which one, so I won't quote, but I think I know who it was. And the guy was on there, and he's like, oh, yeah, I took this job, so I was only working like 45, 50 hours a week. And the podcast host guy goes, listen, I want you guys to see this. He says, this guy says he's only working 45 to 50 hours a week. That's an entrepreneur. That's somebody who has moved from entrepreneurialism into a job. Because you could never say that if you run your own business.
No.
Yeah, 45 hours? No way.
When did I wake up and when did I go to bed? That's what I thought about my business, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the first thing I want to talk about is, are you comfortable with growth and pain, or do you just want to be stable, right? So I talked to many entrepreneurs. I talk to a lot of my friends that are entrepreneurs. I talk to people that have W-2 jobs and are hourly employees and they only want to work so much, and that's fine, right? Like, you've got to understand where your comfort level is. Because, if you go and start your own business, or if you're helping grow a business, right? You're in the marketing side and you're helping grow this business. Are you willing to rock the boat a little bit? I was talking to a student of mine yesterday, and she was talking about how, they're only willing to do so much. They're not willing to go to that next level on things. And I said, okay, well, that's who they are. I mean, you've got to realize they're comfortable. That's where they want to stay. That's where the revenues are going to stay. That's where their growth pattern is going to stay. But don't let that scare you off, because as you grow, and this person's in their 20s, as they grow, you may own a business at some point. So what you're saying to yourself here is that I want to grow it. I'm going to complain about all the problems that I have. But if I'm not having problems, I'm not growing. If I'm not uncomfortable, I'm not growing. And I see all of these, because obviously I teach at a university, but I see all these students come out and they're, I'm so stressed. You have no idea what stress is. And it's just because you haven't reached the next level of stress. And, if you're 21 years old and you're coming out of school and you're stressed, that's one stress. I get it. We've all been in that stress. But then if you own a business, there's another level of stress. And then all of a sudden you owe all this money, but you've got to get more customers. That's another level of stress. And all of a sudden you hire 2 new employees that you can't pay for. That's another level of stress. And it's going to work out, but you just keep pushing forward. And that's what we're talking about today, is what is the amount of stress that you can take, because you got to keep going to the next level, to the next level, the next level. And, what is it? Landman. You're familiar with the show Landman on Paramount Plus?
The wife watches it.
Yeah. So there's a scene in that where, he's looking up and he's like, is that all you got for me, God? And then, all of a sudden there's this massive accident around him. And then, he looks back up and he's like, that was, I can't say exactly what he said, but that was really a bad thing to do. You couldn't just let it go. But that's where we are as an entrepreneur. We're looking at life every single day and going, all right, throw it at me. And I mean, you get callous to things that are coming at you, and those people that are willing to take those hits and just keep getting back up are the ones that I rally behind every single day, and I can't teach that. So what I'm saying is I have these 2 companies, and one, I feel like one gets it. They're off and running, and I'm singing their praises. I'm telling them, you're doing an amazing job. Any way, shape, or form I can help you. The other one, I'm going, when are you going to go? When are you going to go? When are you going to, what's going on? How do we get you to get to that next level? And that's a difficult thing for me to watch, but I realize that everybody is in a different place.
So there's so much in there. I was really, the stress level and one of the things I brought out is that who comes out of college at 21? Evidently, I think Adriana almost did here. Our producer came out of college at 21, but it's not minimizing your level of stress, but those things that you mentioned, you owe a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. And you're so you can't walk away, right?
Right.
And then you have hired people that you can't yet pay for. So it's not you hired them and so now you can do less work. You actually have to do more work because you have to make more money to pay for them.
Right.
All those things add up to wanting to make some people not want to grow.
Right.
And that's kind of, I think, what I'm getting out of your message. I mean, is there some sort of self-sabotage at some point?
Yes. I think you get to a point where you're just I can't go forward. It's too scary. And people talk to me all the time, with everything that I'm involved in. And they're like, how can you do all of these things? And I'm like, I've just reached a level where it's normal to me, right? So if you're telling me that things are breaking and, there's chaos around me. Yeah, okay. We're going to deal with it, right? It's not a big deal. Whereas other people, if they break a nail, they're, oh my goodness, big deal. I lose a finger. I'm going to keep going, right? Like, yeah. But that's where an entrepreneur is. The little hits that they get nicked as they're going don't matter. It's the gigantic ones that hit them. And then they fix those and they just keep going. And there's so much opportunity for the ones that will keep going that's what I wanted to talk about today, because I see it constantly. People, I want to. And I always say, then do, right? Like, you just need to commit to it. And I know there's a lot of people probably out there going, yeah, but I get it. But look internally to yourself. Anyone can do anything they want to do. There's ways to do it. There's, and we can talk about the next thing that what I wanted to say is like, scarcity trap, which is basically, well, I don't have money. I don't have this. I don't have that. Okay, go find it, right? And or they hold on to, well, we only have this money. We can't really go out there and spend. Okay, well, if you understand, and this is a marketing podcast, if you understand your marketing, you should understand that for every dollar I go spend out there, especially in digital, how much money should be coming back, right? You should understand your cost of goods sold. You should understand your lifetime value, your customer acquisition cost, all of these different things. And that if I put $1 out there, I should get X back. Okay. If you understand that, and I come to you and say, all right, let's go spend $10,000. What I get is, I'm going to go back over here in the corner. I'm going to curl up and go, I could never spend $10,000. And I ask them, I go, why? Well, that's a lot of money. So you value the $10,000 in your bank account more than you do the $70,000 that we're going to make by spending that $10,000 here. But what if it doesn't work? That's what I hear. But what if it does work? The data is pointing that it's going to work. Right? It's kind of like saying go out and invest in the S&P. It's got an average return of 10%, right? Let's say it's only 5%. Okay, you go put $10,000 and then you're going to get a 5% return. And you always hear it, but what if it goes down? Yeah, what if it goes down? You're going to pivot. You're not going to just throw your marketing out there, spend $10,000 on the first day and hope that it works. You're going to spread that over a long term, and you're going to go, okay, if it's not working after $500, we need to pay attention to this, right? And I've had a lot of people in the past where they just throw money out there and they don't pay attention to it. But I also have a lot of people that won't go out there and spend the money. It's like, what if we lost it?
So in that case, for you in your small to medium-sized business, to some extent, marketing is the villain.
Marketing is always the villain when it really should be your saving grace, right? So it doesn't work. I went out there, I spent $1,000 on Facebook, and I didn't get anything. And then you ask them the question, well, can we walk through the process of what you did? Yeah, I boosted a post. I didn't get any additional traffic to my retail location. Okay, can I ask you, boosted what post? What was it? And they'll tell me, it's some post that we put out there saying how great our store was. Okay, well, how do you know it didn't send any traffic to you? One, I wouldn't necessarily boost a post. I'd do some different things. So maybe you're not following the right approach. Maybe we should start to look at this, right, and understand it. So are you running multiple ads? Or are you just boosting a post? Are you targeting a certain audience? Are you targeting multiple audiences? Are you putting out there 50 ads? Or are you just putting one out there? Are you testing different things? Is there a landing page associated with it? Or is it a call to action? Maybe it's a phone number you want somebody to call. Maybe it's you're trying to get them to walk into your store. So do you have attribution to how many people have walked in your store? There's all of these different marketing things that we can do. So basically what you're telling me is you just threw some money out there in the hopes that it would work, but you didn't take the time to understand the proper process to do it. So what you're blaming all of marketing for the fact that you didn't learn the proper ways to do things. So every marketing is bad at this point. And I hear this constantly. And what I say, I start to ask the questions. What'd you do? Well, I boosted a post. What was that post about? Did it have an offer? Is there a way to track if anyone actually took advantage of that offer? Was it driving people over to a website, to a landing page? Can we look at your landing page? Did you do any tracking on your landing page? Do you know how people interacted with your page? How long were they on the page? What was your bounce rate? Like, I can go on for days on this. But what they say is, nope, I put $1,000 into marketing and it didn't work.
So to reach back to the last podcast, I told you that I don't want to talk to that person.
Mm-hmm.
That I said, hey, if I'm showing up and they're like, well, you know, we don't need to market, or we tried marketing and it didn't work, I'm like, I'm not doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
You're telling the small to medium-sized business, if they're listening to this, they at least have a minute amount of interest in it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be listening.
Right.
So you're kind of ahead. But there's a lot. I mean, when I walk in and, hey, how are you? Well, you know, we're doing so well. We just do it by word of mouth. Okay, good enough, man. You know, I honestly I'm not selling you anything, but just give me some information. I came all the way over here, or I got you on a Zoom and I cut the time out. Give me some information. How is it working? Oh, it's working for you good, blah, blah, blah. That's it. Now, a couple of times I have gone through that process, and then they'll call me back. But when that starts out, when I meet that person, I don't want anything to do with them.
Well, it's funny you said, we're doing fine. We do it by word of mouth. And then you ask, okay, that's great. Congratulations that you've been in business for 3 years. I mean, the average business will disappear in 5, right? If you can make it past 5, you're usually pretty golden. But okay, so you're at year 3, you've grown. Like, what's your growth rate? Well, we're kind of flat. Okay, are you pulling a nice paycheck out of this? Well, no, I'm not paying myself. Okay, like you see, you start to hear these things over and over and over again, and you start to say like, okay, well, would you like to pull a paycheck out of here? Would you like to make a 6-figure salary from your business? Would you like to make $200,000 from your business? Would you like to make a 7-figure salary from your business if you really wanted to? Right? Those are all and you're going to get no. I'm comfortable. Okay, that's where we're talking about the individual at this point, right? Are you comfortable where you're at? So I own a few different businesses, and I have this conversation with myself every single year. All right, I've gotten comfortable. I've gotten stagnant. I need to shake things up. I need to do something I haven't done that's going to just grow this thing even more next year. And I'm going to be uncomfortable all year long doing this because I'm not used to it, right? It's kind of like when I first launched my first e-commerce business. I had no idea what I was doing. I launched it. I was learning on the fly. I was making all kinds of mistakes. I had to code all of this stuff. I had to custom build like the catalog in the background with all this coding. Million things that you can do today that are so much easier, but I'm making all kinds of mistakes. I realize, that I'm shipping out. They're paying for shipping, and I'm losing $3 or $4 on every shipment that's going out because I'm not charging enough for shipping. I'm not, maybe taxes were an issue. Like back in the day, you had to custom code taxes for each state, and each counties had different tax, all this stuff, right? But you're making all of these mistakes, but did that teach me something? Of course it did. Was I uncomfortable? Yeah, I'm making mistakes left and right, but I'm solving these mistakes as I go. So as I continue to grow, I'm not going to have those same mistakes. I'm going to have things working in a system that's actually making me more money.
You got 1 minute to explain the one constraint exercise.
So I've been hearing this a lot actually lately. So I figured, well, let's jump on the bandwagon on this. What is the one thing that if I could change it tomorrow would take your business and double it? It's an easy question, but nobody has the easy answer to it, right? So if I asked you about the sports network, what's the number one thing if we solved it today would double you in size?
Awareness.
Is it?
I mean, if I had a vehicle to create awareness in the business community.
Okay.
I have it in the fan community.
So let's say that every single business in your farm area, right, where your customers are coming from, knows exactly what you guys do. Does that double your business?
Yeah.
You think?
I don't know. I mean, I'd love to find out.
Right? So is it awareness? Is it, what if everyone that's in your database right now was being sold to every single month? Would that do it?
That would double it.
Okay. Would that be faster than generating awareness for your entire farm?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. So now we're to a different problem. Okay. So we have a database with a bunch of people in it that need to be contacted every single month. Do you have the sales team to do it?
No.
Okay. So we got to find the sales team that can take the database, that can generate the awareness. You see, we're going deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's what you need to do in your business is, what is the one thing that if I could solve it today is going to double my business? And I'm going to put all of my effort into that one single thing. And I'm going to solve it. And this basically stems from Elon. Elon just did a whole thing where he's talking about like all the things that he focuses on. So he's got all these businesses, and he, whether it's Tesla or it's SpaceX or whatever it is, he's not sitting in those offices every single day. Like, he's paying attention to the gigantic problem in one company, and he's trying to solve that, right? So think of it in terms of that, where like if I came to you with a sports network and I said, hey, we've got an issue on Facebook, the last video didn't populate properly. You shouldn't care about that, because that's not the goal of what you're trying to do. You're trying to double your business this year, which is that one video isn't going to create anything, right? Like, that's not going to matter to your goal.
That's like doing the morning show, just so you know.
Well, it's like sweeping up this floor. Like, it's not going to get you to your end goal, so you shouldn't focus on that. So as an entrepreneur, somebody that owns their business, that wants to grow it, what is that one thing that's holding you back from moving forward? Go solve that and forget about the rest of the stuff, because that's where you need to focus. And now, mind you, let's go back to the original story that I had. You have two companies that are in the exact same industry, exact same look and feel. One's doing 10x. It's because that one that's doing 10x is all in. Like, when you sit down and talk with them, they are all in. They are moving forward. They are blood, sweat, and tears doing exactly what they need to do. Whereas the other one, okay, it's moving, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, find that one thing in your business that's going to change it, and put all of your energy into it, and just let everybody else work on the other stuff if you have those other people to help work on it.
Tell a friend. Mastering Local Marketing. That was episode 122. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thank you.
Till next time. See you later.